Hey guys, back for today. So today's video is a little lesson to, well, not just new guys, but everybody in HVAC in general or in the trades, is it's not always about sell, sell, sell. A lot of the time it's about doing what's proper for the customer. Short-term losses for long-term goals, or short-term losses for long-term gains is what today's video is about. I did the right thing for her, and it'll pay tenfold over just trying to get a quick buck. So if you follow my guidelines on the second job today, you will go far in this trade. First job is just laying out my framer on something that I'm going to do down on that big mansion job, that hacked mansion. So I hope you enjoy both videos today, both jobs, and enjoy. That's all I can say.
Good morning, guys. Seton HVAC here. It is Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Got a nice leisurely day today. Lots of windshield time. So first off, I'm picking up my Mexican friend, Camila. He worked over on that big remodel project I'm doing here close to home. And he's a pretty handy guy with framing and finishing work and stuff. So I'm going to pick him up in Bend, which is about 20-25 minutes away. And we're going to head down to Sun River so he can look at patching the side of this house, up on this flat roof, because I'm going to remove that rooftop unit and I'm putting them a concealed ducted in that attic space. Get everything out of the weather the way it should be. We'll just have the heat pump sitting outside on that flat roof, which is how they should have done it to begin with. That's how I would have done it anyway. So he's going to go out there and look at that with me, so he can give the homeowner a price on that portion of it, so the guy knows what his total expenditures are going to be on that project, which I'm sure it's going to be fine. He's going to get one or two other bids on that, getting that framing work done too, so he can pick from the three. But I'd like to offer my friend a chance to get the work. So we're going to go do that, and then this afternoon, after we're done there, I'm going back out to that heat pump one where I think the other contractors were trying to rip her off and tell her that it needed to be replaced. I'm going to go out there as a second opinion, and if I don't find anything wrong with it, I'm going to tell her to roll with it. And then if something does happen, call me then. I'm not gonna throw a proposal in her face and tell her that she needs to replace her system right now, because she almost signed on the dotted line with that other company just because they were offering some same as cash financing. Now at some point that'll be a smart move, but not right now. Why do it when you're in a crunch? If she had the money, she wouldn't be needing to finance it, right? So why not wait until it's planned? Even if I go out and tell her it's okay, maybe I say, hey, maybe we should think about it this spring when it's not, your system's not going to be down at all. Wouldn't that be the smart thing to do? Let's schedule it for June, and I'll come out and replace your system in June, or May or whatever, when it's mild temps and it's not boiling out or freezing out. That's how I like to approach these things, and it's the smart thing to do. It's the logical thing to do. So yeah, I got a lot of windshield time today. I'll probably get you some shots out there again, kind of, our discussion of how we're going to patch this side of this house and everything else. And yeah, I'll see you out there, guys. Enjoy doing this, and stick it out with me. I got good content coming up, good projects. So I'll see you soon. So he says we'll put a tall of a door here that we can by 3 feet wide, and that'll be plenty wide for us to get the equipment and stuff in and out, and then he's going to make a nice door for it. And then right here, once I have this pulled out, he's going to try to match this, or just make it so it's weather tight, reflash the bottom there so it's all done properly. And when we pull all these screws out, I'll probably have to bring some Volcom or something and fill all the holes. Alright guys, we're rocking and rolling. Hopefully that video turned out okay on the roof. I was kind of holding it down so my buddy didn't think I was recording everything, which he wouldn't have cared. I eventually straightened the phone out and got you guys the gist of what we're doing out there. Put that out a little bit. We went and grabbed some lunch, and now I'm headed back out to that job where they tried to sell her something she doesn't need. At least that's what I think anyway. You know, 3 HVAC contractors out there before me didn't do the ethical thing and check and make sure that, you know, the system really needs to be replaced. So what I'm going to do is I'm heading out there right now, right on time. It'll be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the time that she wanted to meet up. I'm going to throw my gauges on the heat pump, and I'm going to get some temperatures, get some delta T's in heating and cooling. She changes her filter religiously, so I'm not too worried about, you know, a dirty coil or anything. You know, the other contractor, the first one out there that told her she needed a new system, said that her temperature rise and drop, her delta T, wasn't within what it should be. But doesn't mean your system needs to be replaced. That's just ridiculous. He just assumed there was a leak. He didn't find a leak, and he didn't really confirm that the refrigerant levels are low. So I'm gonna go out there, yeah, hook my gauges up, get some temperature rise and drop, and you know, give it a good once over. And if sorry, if I'm not satisfied that it has a leak somewhere, then I'm gonna tell her, you know what, hold off. Give me a call when you want to replace it. And yeah, and one of you guys made a snide comment on the other video. Yeah, I'm leaving money on the table. Well, whoop-de-doo. You know what? I'm not leaving money on the table, because word gets around, and by doing the right thing once, potentially is a lot more work, guaranteed. Speaking from experience, 30 years of it in HVAC. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. But anyway, I'll be there in about 10-15 minutes, and I'll get you guys some shots of what I find out there. Hopefully it's good news for this lady.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Right on time.
Yes,
It didn't
you
work
are.
It out that way either. I stopped for lunch, and it just happened to work out perfect.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just got home myself.
Let's hope that we can not find anything, right?
I
It'd be
hope
good
so.
news. Save you some money.
I
So,
hope so.
yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it on so only the heat pump comes on,
Okay.
and I'll go throw my gauges on the heat pump,
Okay.
check the pressures on it, check the numbers, and then I'm going to check the temperature difference and see if it's within specs.
Okay.
And if it is, I don't see any reason to do anything.
Okay.
Because when I showed up the other day, I was expecting it not to be working.
I
you know?
know.
So
I know. So you don't have to go upstairs.
not yet. Now, if I notice something, then I will have to go up there.
Okay.
But you got a clean filter in there, right? So
Well, yeah, and when he came down from upstairs, and I mean, he said everything looks great. So I don't think there's anything with the air
Yeah.
handler.
okay.
It was when he went out there and then started measuring stuff. That's when he realized that.
Yeah, the only thing I would go up there for is if you noticed that the blower was making a weird noise, or if you
Yeah.
had a dirty filter in there or something. So
No, because he cleaned all that
okay.
as part of the service.
Okay.
Because I had him out here just to do.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you too. So the original reason for the call was just the general maintenance, right?
Exactly.
And then he told you that. Okay.
Yeah, that's when he told me that he thinks that there's a leak because of the difference between there and there.
Right. Okay.
And then there may have been
Yeah.
some other.
And
reason.
there's a few reasons why that could happen, why there wouldn't be, and
Yeah.
I'll go over the system. You know, if he didn't hook his gauges up or anything outside, then he
Yeah, I
really
don't know what he did or
then he really
didn't
doesn't
do.
know. So,
Yeah.
So I'll start with
And
that.
then he talked about that other thing, that strip or.
The heat strips
Yeah.
that were a little dark, that's normal. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to be worried about.
Okay.
So
All right.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you doing your thing.
sure,
Yeah.
I'll get started. Alright guys, we're up here. I got the unit running. I got the thermostat 2 degrees up, so it's only the heat pump. Got my gauges there. Let's throw them on. Let's see what we got. Alright guys, we're all hooked up. In the heating side, we have 154-ish 50-ish. And let's look on our heating charts here. So it's this chart, it's this chart here, and this chart here. I'll show you the numbers once I get our outdoor temp. I gotta go get my thermometer. Alright guys, if you look on this chart, we're about 45 degrees outdoor temp. So our curve would be about 55. We're at about 50. But, you know, these charts aren't 100% accurate. So realistically, you know, this is basically saying it would be correct at about 43 degrees. So, I mean, look at that, 46, I don't know if you can see that. Very close. If there's a leak, there's a very tiny leak. I'm not going to worry about it. I doubt there is. You'll lose that much. Sorry about my nasty thumb. My nail still hasn't grown back. You'll lose that much just taking gauges off and on of it. On and off of it. If I can speak. Sorry, it's freezing. I'm cold back in here. The wind is really blowing today. And then if you look at our head pressure, we have 157 at 46 degrees. I mean, we're right in the middle of the curves, right? So I'm not worried about this one bit. Not one bit. So if it's got a leak, it's very small. And I'm just going to tell her to roll with it. And we'll be fine. I'm going to check our Delta T's right now. Alright guys, I got everything put back. So I'm going to show you how to properly address these concerns with homeowners. And I just saved her 20 grand, at least 15. I don't know what the other guys' bids were, but here's how it works. Did you want the thermostat back down at 63? That's where it was when I got here. I got it at 66 now.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, because I've been going on already. So
Okay.
I had just gotten home.
Okay. So the diagnosis.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it. Now, what a lot of guys don't realize is every time they put their gauges on it and take them off, you lose a tiny fraction of the refrigerant.
Yeah.
It's on the lower end of the scale, but it's on the scale. It's producing the heat that it's supposed to. So here's what I would do.
All right.
I wouldn't do anything right now.
Okay.
Were you here last winter?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what your bills were like, right?
Yeah.
So if there's an issue with the heat pump not heating the way it's supposed to, you're going to notice it via your bill because it's going to use that backup heat more. So what I would do is monitor it this next month. If you notice anything out of the ordinary, call me up right away, and then we can address it at that time.
Okay.
But the only way to really properly check the charge is to run it in cooling, which we can't do right now because it's too cold outside. So here's what I would do is watch it. If you don't notice your bill increasing and your house is just as comfortable,
Yeah.
don't do anything.
Okay.
And then...
But you don't think that there's a leak?
I don't... Well, he didn't know that there is for certain. There's no way he would know for certainty, and there's no way that I would know for certainty.
Okay.
But one thing I did notice is that the caps on the service valves outside were loose. Now I don't know if the guy left them that way or if they were like that before. He probably left them that way, but that's a potential leak there too. So I tightened all the caps out there. You know, in spite of doing a full leak test and everything, those are the usual suspects when it comes to leaks. So I fixed those, and I mean, it's heating the house fine. I would let it roll. Just watch your bill. If you notice a spike in your bill, like next month.
Like what kind of a spike?
Well, you know, obviously each winter is different, so it's not going to be exactly what it was last year. But if your heat strips are running when they're not supposed to, you're going to know. You're going to have like $40 more on your bill or something, you know.
Yeah.
And then call me right away, then I can come out and address it.
Okay.
Now, as far as checking the charge, that's something that, you know, if you're good throughout this winter and you notice, hey, my bills are still kind of the way they were last year, then I'll come out in the springtime. I'm not going to charge anything today.
Oh, well,
So,
thank you.
yeah, so I just want to give you the peace of mind that everything's good. But call me back, or I'll set it up with you in the spring to come back and actually check it in the cooling mode, which is the proper way via the manufacturer to do that.
Okay, so checking here, checking up there, not something.
It's at the lower end, but
Okay.
but there's lots of things that could cause that. You know, you had your system shut off while you were gone this morning, and the ductwork could be cold down in your crawl space,
Yeah.
and that'll cause that delta T to be lower, the temperature
Okay.
difference to be lower. You know, you got to wait for that duct. I did notice when I had it running for about a half an hour, it was starting to rise, and that's probably because the duct's warming up, because you'll
Okay.
get heat loss through that duct.
Okay. All
Does that
right.
make sense? Because you know your crawl space is the same. Ideally, is about the same temperature as outside.
Right.
So basically, while you're gone all morning, it's sitting there in that
Right.
40-degree weather or whatever it was this morning.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So your recommendation is.
my recommendation is don't do anything. Don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And if you do notice something,
Okay.
call me
All right.
and we'll address it.
Yeah.
We won't have to address it to the tune of $15,000-$20,000.
So let's say that right now I turn on the heat, and how long should it take for, let's say I put it up to 69?
Yeah.
How long should it take to get?
It
To
depends on how
69.
far down you turn your thermostat, how far you set it back. So
I never go lower than 63.
okay, so I would recommend on a heat pump, and this is just a rule of thumb,
Yeah.
not to go more than about 4 degrees, because really a heat pump are designed for spaces to maintain temp, not necessarily make up temp. Because what it's going to do is it's going to kick your electric heat on.
Okay.
Because remember I was telling you whenever it goes more
Yeah.
than 2 degrees, it kicks it on because it wants to heat your house up.
Okay, so because usually I do either 69 or 70, just depending.
Okay.
So I shouldn't lower
I
my.
would, if you're going to go 69, I would say go to 65 at night if you can bear it.
Yeah,
to set.
I think it's going to be too hot for
Too
me.
warm for you? Okay,
Yeah.
so you just have to understand that if it's going to maintain that, or if it's going to be that big of a jump,
Yeah.
that it's going to kick your backup heat on. Just the
Okay.
way this system is set up. Whenever your thermostat has more than 2 degree difference, it's going to kick that backup heat on.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't think I can sleep with 65.
But once it kicks on for like maybe 20 minutes or whatever and gets that temp up, it
Yeah.
kicks it off, and then it's just your heat pump trying to get those last 2 degrees.
Okay.
And then whenever it drops back, it'll just cycle the heat pump.
Okay, but with that being said, okay, so let's say like tomorrow morning I set it at 63 for nighttime, and I get up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take it up to 69. How long should it take to warm up? the
Every house is different.
Yeah.
You know, and it really is. It depends on how much that electric heat comes on, right? So if you have, it's going to be probably quicker between those first 3 degrees
Yeah.
than it would be those last 2, because the last two are going to take longer because it's just the heat pump.
Okay. Yeah, because if I remember right, last winter it seems like I was like, oh, it doesn't feel very warm in here.
Mhm.
And I went over and checked the thermostat, and it hadn't gone up very much at all.
Yeah. And that's another reason why you don't want to turn it down so much, is
Yeah.
because, what happens is, it's not just the air that gets to be 64 degrees. It's all your furniture, it's the
Right.
walls, it's everything else. It's got to try
Yeah.
to heat everything back up in order
Yeah.
for the space to heat back up.
All right. Well, maybe I'll turn it down to 64.
Yeah, I think on ours at home, because I have a heat pump too,
Yeah.
we set ours, my wife likes it warm during the day,
Yeah.
70, 71, but we don't go more than like 67, 68 at night.
Wow.
But we're also, our bedrooms are in the
Upstairs.
or downstairs, so it
Oh.
stays cooler. So we need that heat at
Yeah.
night, or otherwise it gets a little chilly.
Exactly.
So every house is different. It's
Yeah.
whatever's comfortable to you.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you've been doing.
Okay.
If you feel like it's not heating up fast enough, try and see if you can sleep with a little warmer.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
There's no tried and true formula
Okay.
for it. It's just every house is different when it
Okay.
comes to that. So
All right. Well, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you
Appreciate
notice
coming
anything
back.
at all, call me.
I will.
You had 3 people that came. Obviously one only told you that it needed to be replaced. The other 2 were just kind of following what the other guy
Exactly.
said. So you don't really have a consensus that you needed to replace it.
No.
And I'm happy to save you the money not doing it. So,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
just let me know if you notice anything.
And did you look at the the coils or whatever they're
The
called?
heat strips?
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, if
Oh.
you did a full maintenance on it and you said
Yeah.
they're a little dark, that's nothing to be
Okay.
alarmed about. And,
Okay.
and if they were dirty or something,
Yeah.
or there was something dangerous, I'm sure he'd have let you know.
Yeah. Well, he
So-
said it would never like cause a fire or anything. He just said they would shut off.
Yeah, there's a safety in there. If they get
Yeah.
too high of a temp, it'll kick
Yeah.
on off. So
So that's, that's where I just don't want to, when it's, like 10 degrees or 12, whatever it is that we
Yeah.
got down to last year,
Mhm.
all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm going to stop working.
yeah.
So that's what I want to avoid.
Yeah, that if anything's gonna not work, it would be the heat pump portion, because that's got the most moving parts. When
Okay.
it comes to the heat strips and an electric air handler, those are the most basic of
Okay.
pieces of machinery. So that's what I would least worry about. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so
And
much.
if something does happen, I'm only 10 minutes away. So.
Yeah. Well, a little bit more than 10.
Well, 15.
Yeah. A little bit more.
Well, it's about 15 if I take
Really?
the gravel. If I take the gravel road over here,
Oh,
I
yeah.
go through Tethero Butte.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I get here real quick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know just to get down to, like, Fred Meyer's takes me 20 minutes.
Does it really? Well, I guess it's a little windier back in here than it seems.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's
'cause
the
you gotta
press for
go- Yeah, you got to go down to 126 and then all the way in. Because I timed it the other day, and it was like to Fred Meyer's.
That's
It
it.
was like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't even go that way. I
Yeah.
go around the back way. I hate the highways.
Yeah, yeah, but you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I go to Bend a lot, and people are like, "Oh, you go all the way to Bend," and I'm like, "It's not that
Not
much
that
farther than going
We
to."
used to take the highway, right? Klein Falls Highway.
Yeah,
over
I
to
go
Tumalo.
out at Tumalo
Yeah.
and then up 20, and
Now that they have that roundabout there,
I
it's
know.
easy, huh?
I agree. But yeah, it's so funny. People don't want to go anywhere. I'm like, I'm from Portland.
Right.
It was 20 minutes to go, basically anywhere.
Yeah, I worked most of my career in Seattle and Portland, so
Yeah.
this is nothing.
No,
People complain about the traffic here. It's
I
nothing.
know. But yeah, they're just like, you go all the way to Bend?
Yeah.
It's like going back to Portland.
Right.
That's too funny.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes. Have a good day.
You do the same.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm a phone call away if you notice
right.
anything. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Take care.
You too. Have a good one.
Do the same.
All right, guys, we're on our bumpy gravel road home. This is my back way home from over there at Eagle Crest. So that's how you handle that. It's funny, you try to save people money and they still give you a bunch of objections, which was what she was trying to do, but I was trying to diffuse every objection that she had, which is hard. I understand. I'm the fourth one there and I'm the only one that's telling her it's okay. It might be a little bit low on refrigerant, but isn't it better to ride out the storm with that, with maybe a couple dollars more, a higher electric bill over the winter than shelling out $15,000 to $20,000? I know the one company that gave her a quote. This is only a 2-ton heat pump. I guarantee you they were about $23,000 or $24,000. That's what these companies do. And how dare he try to give her a scare with her heat strips, telling her it's got a little dark spot on it, so just be wary of that. I mean, it's what it is with these big companies is it's planting that seed of doubt, and that's what they teach them in these boot camps. Plant that seed of doubt in the customer's mind, and that'll make them spend their money. I believe they've said those exact 2 sentences in those boot camps, because I've been to some of them, and I just roll my eyes. It's like when you go on YouTube and you search HVAC sales, and these guys are using all these lines and crap. Give me a break. No, be honest with them. I told her, I go, yeah, I mean, it's on the low end of the scale, like on those wet bulb charts, the train wet bulb charts. It's right at the bottom, but it's on there. And who knows how many times gauges have been hooked up to that where they lost a little bit of refrigerant out of the gauges, like I was telling her. And the guy whoever did the maintenance, if he hooked his gauges up, he left all of her caps loose on there. So whatever, I know I did the right thing. And I didn't charge her for this trip because, like I said, I charged for my estimate, so I charged her on the front end. I was going to charge her a little bit more, but it was kind of on my way today. I was there about 45 minutes. 45 minutes I won't get back. But I'm not going to charge her for it. When it comes time to do something, I already told her I'll call her in the springtime to come out and double check the charge and cooling, which is the right way to do it. I'll check her subcooling. I think that's a TXV system. I didn't look. I didn't go up and look in that air handler, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's an R22 TXV. That's what those old TIM 4 or whatever those air handlers are. I'll quit rambling. But anyway, hey, I just saved her a bunch of money. If she ends up spending a few more quarters this winter heating her house because it might be a tiny bit low, I'd rather do that than have her have to try to replace this thing as we head into colder weather. So, I might go out this spring and find out it's low, and then we can talk replacement when it's a little more reasonable outside. Don't you think that's a smart thing to do? I sure as hell do. So, that's a wrap on this. I'm glad that I was able to help her today, and I got my buddy out on that other job, so things are going real smooth, and there's good things ahead. It's going to be a great winter, like I keep saying. And thanks for watching the channel, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I really appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow.